Now a manhunt is underway for the people believed to be behind the deadly mass shooting in Stockton. That shooting happening on Saturday at a children's birthday party, leaving 4 dead and 11 hurt.
As we getting ready to start my baby, to start cutting her cake and stuff, everybody's getting ready to gather around and just start cutting the cake, and all we heard was gunshots.
We know that the people killed were just 8, 9, 14, and 21 years old. Investigators have yet to release the names of those killed, but the 14-year-old has been identified as Amari Peterson, and family and friends of the 21-year-old victim have identified him as Susano Archuleta. Thanks for being with us at 4 today. I'm Gulston Dart.
And I'm Andrea Flores. Today, the mother of the 2-year-old who was throwing the birthday party describes what happened the moments those gunshots rang out.
I don't even know what was going on. Everybody was inside. It was just a misunderstanding. Everybody was getting ready to cut the cake, like I said, and I actually thought it was my balloons popping. It was gunshots.
Okay, here's what investigators have told us so far about the shooting. They say that there were between 100 and 150 people at a birthday party when the shooting broke out. Again, 4 people were killed, 11 hurt. They say that this appears to be a targeted attack. No arrests have been announced so far in this case. The FBI says that there is a reward right now of $50,000 for the arrest and conviction of the shooters.
The best thing that the community can do right now is if you hear something, say something. We've always said that when it comes to any type of crime. And right now it's important that any information, even if you believe it's dismissive, share it with us.
Community still in shock over this. We have team coverage on the mass shooting right now. KCRA 3's Leanne Denier's been talking with people who knew the victims. We start with KCRA 3's Anahita Jafari, who has the latest on the manhunt for the people responsible for this attack. So Anahita, what have you learned?
It's been more than 40 hours since that deadly mass shooting, and we're here on Lucille Avenue, just feet away from the banquet hall where it all unfolded. And we've been out here all day, and we have not seen any patrol cars. We have not seen deputies or police roaming the streets so far. And so we wanted to give you a little bit of a look at what's going on here behind me. Take a look over my shoulder. You can see that there's a lot of flowers out here. We were out here last night, and it's just grown tremendously since we were here. There's candles and even a teddy bear out here. The collection just continues to grow daily. Last night we saw half as much. We also wanted to show you to the right that garage door to the banquet hall that has been littered with bullet holes. You can see the evidence markers as we slowly zoom in with letters by each bullet hole. It's a very somber feeling here today with grief just hanging over the city. We spoke with people in businesses across the street that are all still shaken by the shooting, saying how devastating it is to hear about children killed and others hurt so close to where they work. Earlier, we spoke with San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office, who tells us a new detail about the victims that are still alive.
There are children. The ages range, I believe, anywhere from 8 up to around 30 years old. I'm not going to give specific ages on this, but we do know that there have been some schools, Stockton Unified, Lodi Unified, even I believe Modesto. Their staff have reached out to see if these victims might be students at their schools, and they're offering grief support for anybody who may, been related or affected by this incident.
And back out here live, we're going to continue to keep you updated with some of those questions that are still left unanswered. Sending it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, people have so many questions about this. So, Anahita, what are some of the other answers people in the community are looking for from law enforcement?
So earlier today, we spoke with the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office, and I do believe that the most pressing question that we continue to get from community members, from people working at businesses, is details on who these suspects are. So maybe a description, what they look like, who people can keep an eye out for, if there's one or multiple. So we're waiting to hear back on some of those questions, but we'll keep you updated as we continue to learn more.
All right, Anahita, thank you so much.
Well, we have more on this right now. KCRA 3's Leanne Denier continues our team coverage. So, Leanne, you've been talking to people who knew the victims, and I can imagine only what they're having to go through, but what are they telling you?
It's really hard to really even try to understand what they're going through, but we did spend today talking with family and friends of the injured, as well as some of those who lost their lives in this shooting, many of them telling me that they are really just trying to figure out what their next steps are. However, we did learn from former mayor of Stockton, Michael Tubbs, that the woman actually on this mural here in downtown Stockton is among the injured, Jasmine Delafosse. He described her as a mentee and friend and said that while she is still in the hospital, he is so relieved her injuries were not fatal. Take a listen.
For the folks watching, oftentimes when we think about gun violence, we think it only happens to gang members. We think it only happens to folks who are involved in lifestyles of violence, and that's partly true. But Jasmine was no gang member. Jasmine was not involved in any violence. Jasmine was literally a community leader, someone who would convene people to talk about safety, someone who was advocating for young people when they came out of prison to have opportunity. And she was shot, which means this is a community problem. It's not just a problem concentrated in bad people, but it's a problem that the whole community will be impacted by.
Like I mentioned, I did speak with other folks off camera today who know the individuals involved in this shooting, and again, they told me that they are really just trying to figure out what their next steps are and to really wrap their minds around what has happened here in Stockton over the weekend. In Stockton, Leanne Danier, KCRA 3 News.
Well, the bottom line is you've got to feel that somebody out there knows something, and at the end of the day, a kid's party was targeted, so hopefully somebody will come forward. Leanne, thank you.
Yeah, and we do want to remind you the reward for information leading to an arrest has increased to $50,000, and you can call Crime Stoppers in Stockton, and this is the number right there on your screen. It's 209-946-0600. Any tip that you can provide, they would greatly appreciate it, and a reminder that you can remain anonymous. We'll continue to follow the latest developments for you on air and online. You can download the KCRA 3 app and turn on push notifications to get new information on this case as it comes in.